My name is Lily Carter, and I am 23 years old. I want to tell you about a girl who once lived in our apartment building. Her name was Amelia Brooks, and her story changed the way I think about people and society. Amelia moved into our building about 3 months before everything happened. She was around my age. She looked confident, polite, and always organized. She greeted people with a warm smile and spoke kindly to everyone. My mother liked her very much. Almost every week my mother would mention her name. Sometimes while cooking dinner she would say, "Lily, look at Amelia. She is so responsible and calm. You should learn something from her. Try to be more like her." At first I only rolled my eyes. I did not take it seriously. But after hearing the same words again and again, it slowly started to bother me. The truth is, I never disliked Amelia. I barely knew her. But hearing her name so often made me feel uncomfortable, as if I was always being compared to her. 3 months after Amelia moved in, something exciting happened. One afternoon my mother came into the kitchen looking happy. "Amelia's boyfriend proposed to her yesterday," she said with a smile. "She is getting married next month." I looked at her in surprise. "What? Already?" I asked. "How old is she?" 24, my mother replied. I felt shocked. To me, that sounded very young for marriage. 2 weeks later the wedding took place. Many people from our building attended the small celebration. Amelia wore a beautiful white dress. She looked bright and joyful. Her husband stood beside her proudly, smiling at everyone who congratulated them. I did not talk to Amelia much that day, but I honestly hoped she would have a happy life. However, only 2 days later, everything suddenly changed. That evening I came home from work feeling tired. When I opened the door to our apartment, I stopped immediately. Amelia was sitting on our couch. Her face looked pale, and her eyes were swollen and red. It was obvious she had been crying for hours. My mother was sitting beside her, holding her hand. Amelia's mother was there too, looking worried and upset. Outside in the hallway, neighbors were whispering. The news had spread very quickly. The bride had returned only 2 days after her wedding. My mother looked at me with serious eyes and said softly, "Lily, go to your room." I nodded and walked quietly down the hallway. I did not ask questions, but my mind was full of confusion. Something very serious had clearly happened. Over the next few hours, many neighbors came to visit. Everyone wanted to know the story. Some people tried to give advice. Others whispered quietly among themselves. But no one explained anything to me. Maybe they thought I was too young to understand. Maybe they simply did not want to talk about it in front of me. So I stayed silent. Later that night I heard my parents talking in the living room. My bedroom door was slightly open. My mother sounded worried. "Tomorrow you should visit Amelia's husband's family," she told my father. "Talk to them calmly. Ask them to take her back. Small mistakes happen. Marriage should not end so quickly." My father agreed and said he would go in the morning. The next day both of them left together. I stayed home. Amelia was upstairs in her apartment with her brother. I thought about visiting her many times, but I did not have the courage. So I waited downstairs and hoped my parents would return with good news. When they finally came back in the evening, something strange happened. Amelia's mother was standing in the living room holding a white bed sheet in her hands. Her face looked full of anger. Suddenly she began shouting loudly at Amelia. "You destroyed everything!" she cried. The whole room became silent. Then she said something that shocked me deeply. "It would have been better if girls like you were never born." My heart began to beat faster. I could not believe a mother could say something so painful to her own daughter. My mother quickly looked at me. "Lily," she said gently, "take Amelia upstairs." I stood up and helped Amelia walk toward the stairs. Her shoulders were shaking, and tears were still falling down her face. But Amelia's mother did not stop. Before anyone could react, she suddenly slapped Amelia across the face. The sound echoed in the room. Amelia did not fight back. She did not shout or defend herself. She simply stood there crying quietly. My mother quickly stepped between them and told me to bring Amelia downstairs again. I led her back to the couch and gave her a glass of water. Her hands were trembling badly. After a few minutes I asked softly, "Amelia, what happened?" For a moment she stayed silent. Then she looked at me with tired eyes. "I didn't bleed," she whispered. I frowned in confusion. "I don't understand," I said slowly. She was about to explain, but before she could speak further, my mother returned and told her to go back to her apartment for the night. So Amelia quietly left. For months our building was full of rumors and gossip. 6 months later Amelia officially got divorced. The reason was simple but heartbreaking. Her husband's family believed she was not a virgin because she did not bleed on her wedding night. That was the only reason. People started whispering terrible things about her. Some blamed education. Others blamed freedom and modern life. But very few people cared about the truth. Doctors say there are many natural reasons why some women do not bleed during their first intimate experience. It does not prove anything about a person's character. But society often chooses tradition over knowledge. Because of this misunderstanding, Amelia's marriage ended and her reputation suffered. Before all this happened, Amelia was just the girl my mother always compared me to. But after seeing what she went through, I started to respect her. She stayed strong even when people judged her unfairly. That experience changed the way I see the world. People judge others very quickly. Sometimes one rumor or misunderstanding can destroy a person's reputation. But the truth is always more complicated than society's simple judgments. Amelia was never my rival. She became my friend. And she taught me something important. No one else has the power to define your character. Only you can decide who you truly are.